Careers, and this is another Wednesday Careers webinar. I'm here today with the Intuit team who is leading a live discussion on how to become a TurboTax Assistant Associate or a QuickBooks Live Bookkeeper. So if you have ever wondered or if you've been following our Spouse First community, let me tell you that Intuit gives you military families career options that are part of the new normal. So let's find out how to land a new career opportunity that is portable, adaptable, and it will travel with you. So without further ado, let's get started. Great. So I'm here once again. Welcome to this careers webinar. Laura Turns here with Blue Star Careers. And today we're going to talk to the Intuit team. And we have some incredible experts here with us today. And they're going to share with us how to get hired as a tax expert or a bookkeeper at Intuit. So this is going to be a great interactive webinar. So please post your questions. Tell us your comments, where you're watching. We want to know. We want to send you your shout out. Remember, we are here streaming on LinkedIn, on our Facebook group, Facebook pages, all across our Blue Star Families community pages, all across, all the way from New York to San Diego. And we really want to know where you're watching. Now, another thing, part of of course, that we are going to cover for you is we're going to talk about the benefits and positions that are available to you. That's where our experts are going to come and discuss those with you. So keep writing your questions because we're going to address those towards the end. And then we're going to talk about training, how to grab skills to get you hired, how to join the team of experts and become an expert yourself. Then, of course, like I mentioned, we'll do the Q&A towards the end. So let's get started and meet Tessa, James, and Artie, who are great civilian partners of our community members. And they are here to share with you all about the Intuit community and about all the great opportunities for you to get started. And that's most importantly, how to navigate your career. So let me bring him in really quick towards the page. There we go. We have all the Intuit team. Artie, welcome. How are you guys doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Laura.
Welcome. Hi. Thank you. So if we can go real quick on just a little Brady Bunch, introduction and talk about your specific role in Intuit very briefly, and about also how do you connect it to the military? What do you bring in for our community? And so we'll start with you. James.
All right. Thank you, Laura. Again, my name is James Purefoy. I'm a recruiter on the TurboTax Live side of the business. I've been with TurboTax Live going on 2 years. I'm affiliated with the military. I'm a former veteran, or I'm a veteran, not a former veteran. United States Army Field Artillery. And I've got over 30 years of expanded management experience in the private sector, primarily in commercial and digital printing and nonprofit operations. And in all those positions, I have experience in not only in recruiting, sourcing individuals, but also vetting them through the process.
Wonderful. And so glad that you are part of this team. And then you also have that connection to the military so that you can help us and support us, but most importantly, guide us on how to get our foot in the door, and become Intuit experts as well with you. Now we're going to go to our military spouse, which is part of our male spouse community here. And we're super proud to meet Tessa, who is also part of the Intuit team. So Tessa, I'm going to turn it over to you. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I am a recruiter with QuickBooks Live. I've been with Intuit a little over a year. I actually started as a recruiter with TurboTax for a few months, and then I went full time with QuickBooks Live. I'm currently in San Diego, California. We just recently moved from Houston, Texas, and I am a Navy spouse. Very happy to be here. My background is mostly in retail management, but staffing is part of that. So I always staff my own stores, and Intuit has been great as far as working remote and everything. So I'm very happy to be part of this group.
Great, thank you. And we definitely will have some questions for you towards the end on asking you how to use data pivot, the career switch, which is, it can be scary sometimes for people who, when we have been doing, even though we move so often, the career progression and the career pivoting, it's always scary for us in the military spouse community because it's hard to start all over again in a new industry. So we're definitely interested in hearing more about you. But of course, last but not least, our civilians reporter, Artie Martinez, who's also part of the Intuit experts and is here to talk more about the Academy and ways for you to level up your expertise. Artie, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. So excited to be here and share with you what Intuit has to offer. My background is I have actually spent about 18 years in higher education, working a lot with adult learners, career changers, military personnel, military spouses. So very excited to be here today and share with you what we have that hopefully could be an opportunity for you all in the future. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. And as I mentioned, please, make sure that you are posting your questions and you let us know where you're watching. We will address all of these towards the end. We're going to make sure that we are addressing your just your overall general questions. Whether you're starting out, you're looking for part-time, you're looking for full-time, this is definitely the segment you definitely want to watch. And not only that, but pay it forward. Share with your military spouse community and those who are currently looking for work at the moment and will be pursuing a new career in a new area. So I'm going to go and share my screen real quick so that we want to do, although we want to do this, we have a presentation for you guys for our virtual community. I want to tell you that we are making this very interactive. So if you are watching, please post your questions. We will definitely address those. And so we are going to do just a general presentation for you guys just to guide us and keep us on cue. But definitely we want to address your questions and make you feel very welcome into this workforce area of expertise. So please continue to just follow and post your questions. So I'm going to go straight. Intuit is one of the top companies at work. So team, who's going to get us started?
All right, I'll take that, Laura.
Great.
Okay, everyone, as you can see by looking at the slide, and if you didn't know, Intuit is one of the top companies to work at. Today, you're here to hear about TurboTax Live and QuickBooks Live, but those are just two of the companies that are under the Intuit family of companies. As you can see across the top of the slide, different organizations that have recognized Intuit either as a good place to work or identified the items within the company that should be recognized. So if you look at the first one, Fortune has rated Intuit as number 11 out of 100 companies as one of the best companies to work for. People Magazine has recognized Intuit as one of the companies that cares, and that's recognized by the policies that the company has. Forbes America has recognized us as best employer for diversity and inclusion. And then finally, if you sit back and look at what do the people that work for Intuit say, the Glassdoor has recognized Intuit as one of the best places to work, as said by employees. So now today, product-wise, we're looking at TurboTax Live and QuickBooks Live. TurboTax Live is the number one tax provider in the United States, and QuickBooks Live is the number one solution rated by customers globally for providing financial support for businesses. So if you go to the next slide, One more. Okay, so let's talk about some of the benefits that you have available working for Intuit. Uh, one of the best benefits are the remote work, the work from home opportunities, especially for clients all across the 50 states. So wherever you are in the United States, if you move, you can take your job with you. Another opportunity you have extra income while keeping your own clients, especially with TurboTax Live. If you're working for if you have your own tax business, personal tax business, you can work for TurboTax Live while also working with clients that you have with your own business. And also, you can choose your own work schedule. We TurboTax Live, we work on a first come, first served basis. So as soon as you get into the process and get selected, then you have the opportunity to pick the dates and times that work for you around your personal schedule. And then there are other Intuit employee benefits that are available. So for TurboTax Live, you have a 401k savings option plan. You also have available an employee stock purchase plan. You can take advantage of the EAP program. There's paid sick time that you can earn. You also are provided Intuit E&O insurance, which is error and omission insurance, as a tax advisor. And you also have the opportunity to get a free copy of TurboTax Live, and there's also discounts on other products within the Intuit family. Tessa, you want to touch base on the QuickBooks Live benefits?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, so for QuickBooks Live, you're looking at medical, dental, vision insurance after your first 30 days of employment. We have 401k with employer match. You can contribute up to 30% of your salary, pre-tax and post-tax options, employee stock purchase plan option. We have the employee assistance program. There is a bonus incentive. You get PTO on your birthday and sick time. And we also have some discounts with Intuit software.
Wow. Okay. Can I interrupt real quick and ask you guys? And I'm going to post a question here that has been asked on our work often. But you mentioned choose your own work schedule. Tell me how this works. What is the work hours that we can choose from? Because we're busy, and so we want to make sure that we can also fit it within our lifestyle.
Okay. You want to go first, Tess?
I could go first, sure.
Okay.
So for QuickBooks Live, our schedule, our operating hours are Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can work anywhere from 20 to 40 hours. We do require that you work a minimum of 20 hours. You have a set schedule, and you're able to choose, do you want to work 20 hours a week, 25, 30, or 40? And so as long as it's within those hours, you can choose a schedule that best fits, your lifestyle.
Got it. Oh, that's wonderful. Those are really long hours, but also definitely the opportunity to interact and to adjust it to your busy life, right? Okay,
Right.
Great, perfect. Thank you so much. Then we go to our next one, of course. How does this remote tax live positions work? Tell me the difference.
Okay. All right. For TurboTax Live, and just to let you know, Laura, my connection is going in and out, so I apologize if I freeze or you don't hear me.
That's okay. Thank you.
So just to follow up on what Tessa was saying, to answer that question, our hours, we recruit year round for tax advisors, but we primarily look for people during the primary tax season, January through April. But we have individuals that get extended. A lot of it is based on performance, but you get asked if you want to extend and you have to agree to it. But once you're recruited, and we'll get into this into the workflow of the process of how we recruit, but it is from 8 a.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time, 7 days a week during the tax season. You have to work at a minimum of 20 hours a week. And whenever you do work a shift, you have to work a minimum of a 4-hour shift. So you can work more than 20 hours a week. You can work more than a 4-hour shift. And that's during non-peak times. For those that don't know, during the tax season, there are 2 peak periods. One is from the end of January through the middle of February, and the other peak period is in April. And those are the individuals that are either wanting to get their refund immediately, early, and then in April are the individuals trying to meet the tax deadline. So during the peak periods, you're required to work at least 35 total hours during each peak period, still working a minimum of 4 hours per shift. So those are the hours throughout the tax season. Again, you can be extended if you're asked, and we have some people that work through April, some work through May, June. We're recruiting now, and I have some individuals that just offboarded about a week ago, but we're in the rehire process for them.
Wonderful. Thank you, James, for that. And so that's a really great opportunity to just get your foot, kind of like your life or your part-time, your lifestyle situated a little bit, especially if you're relocating, as you know, from previous Army, Navy lifestyle experience. This is the season where a lot of people who have relocated over the summer and moved to a new location are actually now embracing their new community. So I think this is can be a great opportunity for them to start looking for work, start situating and adapting their schedule to meet some of these specific positions and needs, right?
Yes.
Great. Perfect. All right. So this sounds very exciting. So again, community who is watching today, please continue to post your questions. We will address those towards the end. And please let us know where you're watching. We want to make sure that we send you a shout out and we acknowledge your support. And we have James, who's an Army veteran, and he's also a recruiter of Intuit. And he's discussing great ways for you to get your foot in the door with Intuit. And then we have Tessa, who's also a Navy spouse, and she's here representing also the recruiting, the talent acquisition team. And then we have our civilian counterpart partner and supporter, Artie Martinez, who is also here. We'll talk a little bit more further about the training opportunities and how to really level up your skills. So, but we'll continue with Tessa right now learn about all the QuickBooks Live with Intuit positions.
Sure. So, a little bit more about the bookkeeper position. So, as I was saying before, you can work anywhere from 20 to 40 hours a week. This is a year-round role, so it is not seasonal. You would have a fixed schedule with this role. You choose anywhere from 20 to 40 hours, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific. In terms of prerequisites, there are 3 requirements to be considered qualified for this role. For our QuickBooks Live bookkeepers, we do require that you have 1 year minimum of prior experience working with QuickBooks Online. You do need an active QuickBooks Pro Advisor certification, and we do need you to have 3+ years of managing books for small business, or the Intuit Bookkeeping Professional Certificate is also accepted in place of those 3 years of experience. And I think Artie will be talking about that a little bit more here in a few minutes. So those are the requirements for the role. Some bonuses on top of those requirements, which are great to have but are not necessary: a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance, an active CPA or CPB, and of course, as always, it's great if you are Spanish bilingual. We offer bilingual roles for Spanish speakers as well.
Wonderful. So, Tessa, yo hablo español. So, and we have actually, through our Booster Families Careers program, we have actually done a really well job targeting and raising our pipeline of bilingual talented military spouses who I think this would be a great way for them to get started in a professional career, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Great, thank you. And so now, earlier you mentioned, or James mentioned that for a QuickBooks Live position, if you are a small business owner, you can actually also work for Intuit and do the bookkeeping also on the side.
Absolutely. Yep. A good number of our bookkeepers are small business owners, or they do, they have a small business managing other people's books, other, small business owners' books. But yeah, this is a great way to have a second source, even third source of income if you like.
This is great because it takes a lot to launch a business and to open up yourself as a bookkeeper and a solopreneur, and so it's really hard to make that decision to go work for somebody else. But if Intuit allows you to do both without having to be a conflict, I think this is a wonderful idea. Why not, right?
Right. No conflict. Good to go.
Exactly. So let's talk about training, offer, and all the skills that we can actually grasp and get once you are part of the Intuit opportunity, or even before.
Awesome. Okay, so I am so excited to introduce you all to Intuit Academy. We started back in February of 2010, 2010, February 10th of this year, and we have over 16,000 learners that have joined us. Currently, we have 2 free tax programs that are online, but we will be launching the bookkeeping in November, and that will also be free. So stay tuned for that. But right now, I'll introduce you to the Intuit Academy tax classes. So this is really your one-stop shop for all things related to learning and growing your tax career with Intuit, whether you're new or just want a little bit of a refresher. It's designed with a community-first approach where we offer free tax courses and exams. And currently right now we have tax level 1 and tax level 2. The platform is very interactive and you can navigate how you want to learn and when, at what pace, as everything is virtual and free. So you can kind of do it however you want. So apart from being free, what are some of the other key incentives that Intuit Academy offers? Well, you don't need prior experience to take the course. And as you know, in today's job market, not having enough experience can be a tough hurdle to cross. So the Intuit Academy will actually serve as a great starting point for you to get comfortable with the tax industry in general, so that you can learn about it at your own pace and take the exams on a schedule that works for you. And then second, if you already have prior tax experience, you can absolutely skip the course and go straight to the exam and showcase your knowledge. Either way, once you pass the exam, you will earn an Intuit Academy badge, which will help you stand out for jobs such as our TurboTax Live roles at Intuit. And I know that you can see that QR code at the right. So if you are interested, feel free to scan that QR code and get a little bit more information and enroll for Intuit Academy.
Perfect. Or, as Laura would love to say it, be sure that you follow at our sponsors virtual community, because we are definitely going to share all those links. And we, in fact, have started in the last 2 weeks talking about the Academy. And there's a few people that are enrolling. I mean, I like to call on their names: Amanda, Claire, some of the individuals, and to pose your questions and let us know how that learning is going for you guys. Individuals who are actually now part of the courses and taking this next level of their career growth.
Awesome. So just to jump in a little bit more about the tax level 1 and 2, tax level 1 is basic. It covers the fundamental knowledge and skills needed to prepare most individual federal tax returns. You can take this course whether you're new to tax prep or if you just need a refresher. The course covers about 30 hours of learning, but it is self-paced. So we've seen people finish it, in 15 to 18 or 20 to 30. It's really totally up to you. And there are 17 modules within the tax level 1 course. Once you finish the course, you'll be able to identify and understand all boxes on a W-2 form and a 1099. You'll be able to correctly input data from taxpayer documents into the appropriate forms, analyze a taxpayer's situation to determine the most common deductions and credits, and determine if taxes are owed or a refund is due. So that's tax level 1, the 17 modules. Tax level 2 builds on what you learned in tax level 1, covering additional knowledge and skills needed to prepare individual tax returns of medium complexity. So this course will assume that you already have the foundational tax knowledge and skills, and this is about 20 hours worth of training again, but it is self-paced, so it's totally up to you. And the tax level 2 will cover how to work with more complex income situations, such as multiple states, foreign incomes, ESPPs, determine business income and correctly report it in the Schedule C, analyze and determine correct reporting for complex tax situations, including investments, interest, rental incomes, and more, and analyze the taxpayer's situation to determine less common deductions and credit. So both courses are free. They are valued at $149 in the market today, but they are free. And if you think you have enough experience, like I mentioned before, feel free to just jump right ahead to the exam. One thing to know about the exam that will help you earn your badge is that you only get 2 attempts to take that exam. And after the second attempt, if you haven't passed, don't worry, you can go back, but you'll have a 6-month cool-off period, at which time you can just continue to study, join us for various events online, and better prep to attempt it the next time. The exams, tax level 1 is about 2 hours. Tax level 2 is about an hour and a half. They're both open note and open resource. And so you'll learn a lot more about that if you do enroll in Intuit Academy. But if you are interested, again, just feel free to scan that code and learn more about us in the future.
Perfect. Oh, sounds like this is a great way for us to be able to just get some expertise. Now, Ari, is this only intended if you have the intention to work or applied for current open roles as a tax professional or bookkeeper with Intuit?
No, great question. Absolutely not. So we have done a lot of digging into who our learners are. A bulk of the learners are folks that may not have the experience necessary and are looking for a way to gain the skills and then stand out to our recruiters. However, we have tons of people that actually have experience that are just taking the courses to kind of level up and give themselves a refresh. And so it's really for anyone who is interested in the topics that we have online.
Wonderful. This is such a great, and I just want to let everyone, of course, we all know life happens. And today you may want to just join the academy to learn and to, just broaden your skills and your expertise, whether you do it for personal purposes or just in general for your current role somewhere else. But life happens and things change, and right? And it could be that maybe the future, once you are certified and you have gained the skills that you need, in a few months you can actually apply to work for Intuit. You can look into opportunities here, and guess what? You've already done over 75% of the work, which you already accredited, you're already in the system, you have already learned and gain the skills that you need in order for you to be, to level up and enter the opportunities over here for Intuit. What about bookkeeping professional certificate, Artie? How does that work?
Yes, a great question. And a reminder again, I will share with you how we currently are offering bookkeeping, which is a partnership with Coursera. But like I said, don't forget, we will be launching bookkeeping on the Intuit Academy platform in November, and it will be absolutely free. So right now we have a partnership with Coursera. It is for the bookkeeping program. So if you are interested in building your skills in this area before November, Coursera is definitely where you're going to want to go. The Intuit Bookkeeping Professional Certificate, like I mentioned, will be on the Academy platform soon, and it does consist of 4 courses. It's Bookkeeping Basics, Assets in Accounting, Liabilities and Equity in Accounting, and Financial Statement Analysis, and then a final exam to help you earn your badge. This is another way to continue growing your accounting and bookkeeping knowledge, gaining another shareable certificate and another skill set for your resume. This certification will also provide you with the foundational skills to prepare your work as a remote QuickBooks Live Bookkeeper for Intuit. And again, we make it easy for you. The courses are 100% online, so you can set and maintain your own schedule, and we don't require a degree or prior experience. And for the bookkeeping, it approximately will take you about 6 months to complete all of the courses.
Wonderful. And I do want to let our community know, Ari, until, of course, you add this course, this bookkeeping certification into the academy, and it becomes a one-stop shop for everyone, all those incredible learners that we have in our community. We have Coursera and access to Coursera through our Spouse Learning Hubs. So if you are a military spouse or a Blue Star Families member, please be sure that you complete our enrollment request, and we'll allow you to get access to Coursera so that you can complete the certification. And I can answer some more questions for you. But if you can't, perhaps, if this is not a must do now, you can also just wait until a couple of more months and then be able to get access to the full academy so that you can actually have everything in one spot and keep it organized, all of your learning options in there as well. So And yes, I will make sure that I'll drop this link here for our viewers and let you guys know more about it at our sponsors virtual community. That's where we'll post all of the process. So now, what is the recruiting process work? Our team, Tessa and James, of course, who's going to come back in a little bit. We're having some technology difficulties, which happens when you are live, but please put your questions and we'll make sure that we talk to them about what the hiring process looks like if you wanted to join the Intuit team.
Okay, I presume you were
That's
throwing it to
you.
me. My system's going up and down. I apologize for that.
It's okay, James. It's
Um, so the hiring process, the way it works is, one, we recruit year round, and depending on which channel you come through, all the candidates are parceled out to the recruiting teams. And what will happen is you get parceled out to a recruiter. We ask that if you do apply for a job, make sure your resume includes all the tax related experience that you have, whether it's volunteer or paid experience. Then what we do is we'll set up a phone screen with each candidate, and we'll vet you to make sure that you have the requirements to move forward to the next step. Now, the basic requirements for the 2 tax advisor positions are you have to have at least 3 seasons of paid tax prep experience, preparing at least 30 returns per season. But you take advantage of the Intuit Academy and get that first tax class under your belt, then you'll be able to move forward in lieu of some of those years. You won't have to have all 3 years. So then we can move you forward and vet you even more. Now, from there, you go to the next step, which is an online virtual interview. The online virtual interview is recorded. It's taken in front of your computer. It's going to vet your individual 1040 knowledge and schedule knowledge, your research ability, your critical thinking, and your written and verbal communication skills. Once you complete the hire view, it goes to our hiring managers who will review your hire view virtual interview. They'll compare it to your resume, and then they'll compare it to the phone screen that you conducted with the recruiter. And then if the hiring managers want to move forward with a verbal offer, they'll contact the recruiter, and the recruiter will reach back out to you. Once the verbal offer is delivered and accepted by the candidate, that's when the onboarding process starts. You'll be handed over to what's called a talent acquisition coordinator, who's the onboarding specialist, the first part of it, and they'll initiate a background check on you. And they'll also send you a written letter for you to sign via DocuSign to accepting the offer and the position. And then there's some other additional checks that will be made. To be a tax advisor or tax associate or tax expert, you have to have a P10, which is a preparer's tax identification number, which you can get at irs.gov. Takes maybe about an hour to apply for, runs about $40, and you have to renew it every year. The only difference between the tax associate and the tax expert role is the tax expert role, in addition to the 3-year 30 requirement, you have to be credentialed. Either have a CPA, have an EA certification, an enrolled agent, or be a practicing attorney, and have an active license in whichever state that you practice in. So once you complete your onboarding process, you've completed everything with the talent acquisition coordinator. Then you go to the customer experience representative. They'll work with you on getting your profile picture completed, put into our database with your profile. You'll also do an internet speed test, because you have to have a hardwired internet connection that meets the minimum speed standards for for our technology. Once all that tests out well, then you'll be given access to the scheduling portal, and that's where you go in and schedule the dates and times that work best for you. So if you want to just work 20 hours, you find 20 hours working at least a 4-hour shift or more. If you want to work more than 40 hours, you can. Keep in mind, it's on a first come, first served basis. That's why we push people to complete every activity you're asked to do as soon as possible. So that's pretty much the process. And then once you complete the process and you set your schedule, then you move to hired status. Well, you move to hired status, and then whatever day that you start, like right now, we're hiring for January 13th. That's your start date. That's a Friday. That's also the date you receive your equipment. And that's also the date you get 10 days of paid training. And it's online training, both live and asynchronous. And that's the process for the TurboTax Live positions.
Wonderful. Now, I do have a question, James, and it doesn't show it here, but also it's been asked before. If you, oh shoot, it just disappeared. Okay, if you don't have all of the experience or the certifications that you mentioned, can you still get hired or be onboarded for just in transition until you complete all of your requirements? Like if you're in the academy learning, can you still join in or apply?
As long as you have to complete the tax level 1 course and
Just the one. Okay.
Pass the exam. Now we have three virtual positions, and I saw where someone had put a question on there earlier about it's a work from home. It's a remote position, and you just have to have a quiet place where you can interact with customers without being interrupted. But we do have another virtual position called a tax prep assistant, which is more of a customer service based role. And I think it's on slide 7. I don't think we got to touch base on that, Laura. But the tax prep assistant is more of a customer service based role. You don't have to have any paid experience. You don't have to. You just have to be familiar. You're doing taxes, you do your own personal taxes and or for family or friends. So you at least understand the vernacular, and you can talk with people when you're on the phone with customers that call in. You're sort of like the online virtual concierge for TurboTax Live. So as people access the service, you meet them at the virtual door. You explain the service to them. You find out what their issues and concerns are, and you're typing them into a file to put up into a virtual queue for the tax associate and tax expert. So if you get a year of tax prep assistant experience and you've completed the tax level 1 course, then that will qualify you then to be considered for a tax associate position.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then one other question while we're on this recruitment portion of the onboarding. For bilingual individuals, what are some of the key other languages that you hire for? And will they be a test that accompanies to test your bilingual skills?
For TurboTax Live, we check to see if people are fluent in whatever language they have, but we primarily, or if not only, look for Spanish speakers, because that's the predominant language that we see when we prepare taxes, along with English. So when you go through when you get selected and you move to the hire review phase of the hiring process, if you say you're interested in a bilingual role, in addition to the tax related questions that you're going to be vetted on, there will also be some questions on there that will vet your Spanish language as far as it pertains to taxes. Because some people say they're bilingual, but they're not familiar with how to converse in the tax vernacular. So it's going to vet that information.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And that's very helpful because, again, our bilingual community here and our sponsors, we want to make sure that they get all the questions and everything out there in order for them to have a good onboarding and expectations of the role. Now, let's talk about QuickBooks now. What is the step-by-step process from the beginning of how you guys are here recruiting today to onboarding our community members so that they can start the first day of work?
Sure. So it's very similar, the process, the application process as TurboTax Live. So for QuickBooks Live, you start with completing an application. You just fill out a little information, about yourself and your background. You will set up an appointment with a recruiter, or they will contact you. So we now have a system that was recently implemented where you can have, kind of a way to set up an appointment with your recruiter through their Calendly. So if you don't get the invitation to do that, a recruiter will still reach out to you within, a couple of weeks, and you set up a 20 to 30-minute phone screen interview. It's very similar. It's more of like a phone screen just to chat with you about your background and making sure that you uh, either have the Pro Advisor certification or know about it, are working on it. You do not need the certification to apply. You just need it before we can proceed with any type of offer down the line. And then just to make sure that you have, the 3 years of bookkeeping experience or the Intuit bookkeeping professional certificate. If the phone screen goes well, then you'll set up a higher view interview. It's digital, very similar to the TurboTax interview, where you have, you're recording yourself on screen answering some questions. You have some multiple choice questions. You have some written response questions. The interview takes about an hour. And then, if that goes well, if the hiring manager does want to move forward with you, they let your recruiter know, and your recruiter, will reach back out, at which point you can talk about start dates and offer and all of that. After verbal acceptance of the offer, you receive a higher right background investigation email from our talent acquisition coordinator. And upon initiating the background investigation, we'll then be able to send over remaining onboarding items, like a written offer letter, new hire paperwork, I-9. Again, that internet speed diagnostic test that James was speaking of, we have that as well. We just have you go to speedtest.net. Your internet speed has to be, I think, 5 megabits per second. um, but yeah, so that's part of the onboarding. And then that's when we would verify your Pro Advisor certification. After completing your new hire paperwork, you get a start date that is typically on a Friday when you receive your equipment. And then you usually start your remote training on that next Monday. And a manager should reach out with an email, welcome, introduce themselves, etc. We don't currently have any start dates right now. We're kind of waiting on the business unit to get back to us, but we are actively interviewing. And so you can go ahead and set up a phone screen with a recruiter, and then that gives you time to work on that Pro Advisor certification if necessary.
Great, thank you. And you did mention these, but all year round. So, essentially you can work currently on your certification, which I know we have also a really large community of members. And our partner next door also has a couple of community members who are also going through the Intuit certification as well. And so I encourage everyone who's watching who has taken advantage of the certification through Coursera to start applying, start exploring opportunities, because this is a great way and for you to get your foot in the door to a great remote career that has flexibilities. So yes, now we ask to please post your questions. And if you have been posting them, of course, throughout the course of the webinar, the session, we thank you for your support. I know we have Anna over on our Spouse First community, and we have a couple of other members, but Anna posted she was watching from Jacksonville, Florida, and she currently is in tax level 1, learning capital gains and losses. So congratulations, Anna. We'll send you a shout out to you. Thank you for supporting, and most importantly, thank you for learning. Thank you that approach to actually just go on and take initiative to upgrade your skills and to do more things. So I want to take off our slide that we currently have so that we can just make it for us to interact, talk, and share our community any last closing remarks or things that you guys might have that you call to action, as we like to say it, for our community members. And but also like to take this moment to send a shout out to Jacob. Jacob, thank you for sharing your LinkedIn. Uh, uh, we'll make sure that we follow up with you after this. And then Joyce, hello, all the way to Virginia. Thank you so much. How's the weather over there today, by the way? Let us know. And then, of course, we want to send Akina Goodson all the way in Camp Pendleton. Thank you, Akina, for watching and supporting. Please pay it forward. Tell the spouses, as well as maybe you yourself can actually do. I know you have some kiddos in college, and so part-time work, it's a great way for you to support sometimes some of those extra expenses that we don't necessarily anticipate. Christina Ni Lucas, is it work from home? Yes, Christina, this is remote, fully 100% from work and Intuit. So, okay, I'll stop selling Intuit. You guys, go ahead. One of you guys, go ahead, Tessa or James, take it over and tell us more about the work from home opportunity while I continue to address more questions.
I will say that, again, we're actively recruiting. So anyone that has already completed the tax level 1 class and they passed the exam, I encourage you to go ahead and interview now, or go ahead and apply now, because that will qualify us to go ahead and move forward and talking with you. And I'll be the one directly working with all the military related individuals that comes through this channel. So I definitely encourage you to do that. Again, it is a work from home. Everyone that I speak to, who, whether they're a rehire or new hire, people, they love this job. They love working for Intuit, and so it's going to be competitive. So if you're available, if you're interested, I encourage you to apply.
Absolutely. And we have the best support ever, because we already know 2 allies who are going to help us get in. And if we're not ready, guess what? I'm sure they're going to take some time opportunity to just coach you and share with you some best practices so that you can get yourself ready in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and come back and reapply or just follow through. Go ahead, Tess. You were going to say something?
I was just going to answer. Angela had asked, do you need like your own office space or a loft, etc. It's fully remote from the training all the way through the role, both for TurboTax and QuickBooks Live. We just ask that you have a quiet space. So we have everything is going to be on video when you're working with customers, and there is, I believe, oh gosh, what's it called? Smart Look video call feature. So it will blur your background out. You don't necessarily need a set up home office, just a quiet space to where you're not interrupted when you're interacting with clients. But, there's a way to blur your background. So anywhere
Perfect.
should do, as long as it's quiet and you have great internet connection.
Yeah, and as a remote employee, I can tell you it always works best. Also, just for your own confidence level, for your day-to-day progression, and just to level up and really maximize your work opportunity for working from home. It always helps if you can get a corner, get a small room, a loft or something to really conduct your day-to-day business, because it sets boundaries for your family as well. So, you want to make sure that you maximize those essentials as well when you are setting up. You set up yourself for success. So I'm here, team, would like to send a shout out to Joyce here. She's on LinkedIn sharing that she's done with the tax level 1 course. Hopefully take the exam this evening. So congratulations,
Congrats.
Joyce. We're cheering for you. Please come back and post and share with our community. How was the test? Don't share the results or all that stuff, of course, but if you can. But let us know how that went and things that you learned and perhaps that you were able to take away. So we did share, of course, we have been sharing how you are. If you're interested, you can, take the opportunities, the academy today. That's your first way, I think I would say, if all of you experts can agree with me, is enroll in the academy. That will be the first step. From there, then, of course, start exploring the other opportunities that you have for the tax level to become just more assertive in your tax delivery of tax, talk, or conversation. And then once you do that, you start exploring. By the time, by the fall, by November or so, Ari mentioned we're going to have access to the Intuit Academy for bookkeeping, right, Ari? But if you are very driven and you must have it done now, then reach out to us, because we do have access to Coursera through our Salesforce learning hubs, and we can certainly give you access to that. You can start learning the bookkeeping certification and do it through Coursera. So there's no roadblocks here through our community. We definitely want to make sure that we set you for success and that you are engaging into a great, meaningful, sustainable career opportunities. Because I didn't talk about the salaries or the pay, but let me tell you, just full disclosure, it is very competitive. For what I know, because I've talked to so many spouses all throughout the course of the year. I know of some colleagues who are actually working for Intuit, and they have shared nothing but good, positive feedback, are being part of the team. So anyway, yeah. Any last thoughts, team, before we go? We've just got like 1 minute to wrap it up.
Laura, if I can add, and there's one thing that I should have mentioned earlier, there are 6 states that you have to meet special requirements these states have before you can even work with us. And the 6 states are, and I encourage you all to check with your states, but California, Connecticut, Maryland, Nevada, New York, and Oregon. They have a licensing program that you have to meet before you can work for TurboTax Live. So check into those. And if you need more information, I can get that to you, Laura, so you can share it with your community.
That would be wonderful. Thank you. Yes. And so absolutely go to our virtual communities, either one of us, Salesforce on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and we'll share all the follow-up and any direct questions, because like James mentioned, there are some states that have a little more restricted options, but then again, there's no restrictions, because you can also do customer service, the entry, the associate, right? So that's also remote work until you work for the full future, tax associate or more level skilled option. So there's no roadblock here, because there's always just to get you in the door. Here's the link for the Academy. Those of you who requested it, somebody else requested it, it's right here, but it's also listed in the comments. And so make sure that you address those and let you know. But again, and if anything, the last, just any questions, any follow-up, you watch the replay, be sure that you follow up with us. You follow into our virtual community, you post your questions, and we'll make sure that we connect you. And or you can follow up directly with me, Laura Torres from Blue Star Careers, and I'll be happy to connect you with this team and any other opportunities that I know are a great fit for our military lifestyle and our military spouse community. So thank you, everyone, for your support. Thank you, Ari. Thank you, James. Thank you, Tessa. It was so great to meet you guys. And we'll be in touch with you guys. And hopefully, please keep us posted with any traction and of course, the applicants and the successes, because we want to cheer for everyone as well. So thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.